Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Krishna Rukmini Jaya Satyabhama. Krishna Rukmini Jaya Satyabhama. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Prabhupada, Guru Deva, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jai Mishnavat Paramahansa Parivrajakaचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस विश्वगुरु ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय मिशनाबाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, verse number 43. Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi. Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi. Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi. Pranana Pranana Apyayana Undanam Prananapyayanondanam Prananapyayanondanam Tapa Apanodaha Bhuyastvam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Ambhasaha Vrittayaha Tu Imaha Ambhaso Vrittayastvimaha Ambhaso Vrittayastvimaha Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi Prananapyayanondanam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Ambhaso Vrittayastvimaha Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi Prananapyayanondanam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Ambhaso Vrittayastvimaha.
Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi Prananapyayanondanam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Ambaso Vrittayastvimaha.
Kledanam Pindanam Triptihi Prananapayanodanam Tapapanodo Bhuyasvam Ambaso Vrittayastvimaha.
Kledanam Pindanam Tripti Prananapyayanondanam Tapapanodo Bhuyastvam Ambaso Vrittayastvimaha.
Kledanam, moistening. Pindanam, coagulating. Triptihi, causing satisfaction. Pranana, maintaining life. Apyayana, refreshing. Undanam, softening. Tapa, heat. Apanodaha, driving away. Bhuyastvam, being in abundance. Ambhasaha, of water. Vrittayaha, the characteristic functions. to, in fact, imaha, these. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The characteristics of water are exhibited by its moistening other substances, coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water, and refreshing by slaking thirst. Kindly repeat. The characteristics of water are exhibited by its moistening other substances, coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water, and refreshing by slaking thirst. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Starvation can be mitigated by drinking water. It is sometimes found that if a person who has taken a vow to fast takes a little water at intervals, the exhaustion of fasting is at once mitigated. In the Vedas, it is also stated, Apomayah pranaha, life depends on water. With water, anything can be moistened or dampened. Flour dough can be prepared with a mixture of water. Mud is made by mixing earth with water. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, water is the cementing ingredient of different material elements. If we build a house, water is actually the constituent in making the bricks. Fire, water, and air are the exchanging elements for the entire material manifestation, but water is most prominent. Also, excessive heat can be reduced simply by pouring water on the heated field. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. At the beginning of this creation, Brahma was thinking how to populate this material universe. And especially in the earthly planet, human beings had to be generated who could fill the whole planet. And Brahma had already done some portion of the creation. He was thinking how to increase the population of, especially of human beings. So at that time, from his body, two personalities emerged, one man and a woman. They were Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Shatarupa. Swayambhu refers to Brahma because he is born out of the lotus by himself. He was not born the way normally we human beings are born through a mother or even animals and other living entities. He took birth from the lotus. So he's called Swayambhu, one who was born by himself. Became Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa, they procreated and they generated several offspring by which the human race came up. Race is known as Manushya. meaning we are all descendants of Manu. Now, this Swayambhuva Manu, he had one daughter who was Devahuti. And we are now seeing in this third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the discussions between Devahuti and her son, Kapila Deva, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And Swayambhuva Manu had also two sons. One was Priyavrata, another was Uttanapada. Priyavrata was the elder son, Uttanapada was the younger one. But Priyavrata, when he grew up, he decided to renounce the world and he wanted to execute devotional service. So he left home and went to the forest. Actually, Priyavrata, being the elder son, should have become the king. But because he renounced the kingdom and went away, his younger brother Uttanapada became the king. Now this king Uttanapada had two wives. The elder wife was Suniti, and the younger one was Suruchi. And by Suniti, the elder wife, Uttanapada had one son by name Dhruva. And by his younger wife Suruchi, he had a son by name Uttama. Now, for the king Uttanapada, Queen Suruchi, the younger queen, was his favorite. And the younger queen, Suruchi, was a little proud because she was the favorite of the king, despite being the younger one. Now, one day, this Uttama and Dhruva, stepbrothers, but they had no such distinction like that. Small kids, 5-year-old kids, 4-year-old kids, they were playing with each other. And the younger one, Uttama, climbed onto the lap of his father. Uttanapada, the king, he climbed onto his father. And father was sitting on the throne. The son climbed, and the father also very affectionately, he welcomed his son. Seeing Uttama sitting on his father's lap, naturally, Dhruva had no distinction. Small child, no 5-year-old child, what he will know, stepbrother and all those kind of things. For him, both Suruchi and Suniti were like mother only. He never had that kind of distinction that this is stepmother, this is stepbrother and all that. But when he saw his brother sitting on his father's lap, naturally, he also wanted to sit on his father's lap. And he was trying to climb on his father's lap. And at that time, Uttanapada saw Suruchi was standing nearby. So he forbade Dhruva from sitting on his lap. And Suruchi also spoke up and she said, "My dear Dhruva, you are wanting to sit on your father's lap, but you are not eligible to sit on your father's lap. Although you are the son of Uttanapada, but still, you are not born of my womb. You are born of some other woman. So if you want to sit on the throne, first you go, execute devotional service to Narayana. And after you please him, you can take birth in my womb. Then you can think of sitting on your father's throne." So practically what Suruchi told, she told Dhruva, first you have to die. Then you have to again take birth. Then only you can sit on the throne. And this Uttanapada was also silent. And what he will tell, because he was more like a henpecked husband. So he remained silent. Now Dhruva looked at his father. Father is keeping quiet and mother is talking like this. He could not tolerate. Well, after all, Kshatriya. And for Kshatriyas, their honor is the most important thing. It's dearer to them than their life. That's natural in their blood. So although he was a 5-year-old child, this stung him. This statement by Suruchi stung him. So he ran crying to his mother, Suniti. Suniti was in her quarters. She was in his quarters. She did not know what had happened. Suddenly she saw Dhruva is coming running. And she called him and she tried to console him and all that. And Dhruva Maharaj narrated, this is what had happened. Then Suruchi checked with her servants. They also told, they confirmed they corroborated what Dhruva Maharaj had said. Yes, Suruchi actually said like this. So for Suniti also, terrible insult, no? She is the older queen and the younger queen is telling like this. Actually, her son Dhruva has the right to sit on the throne, not Uttama. But he has been denied. And what can Suniti also do? Because the king is favoring her. So she also could not tolerate. She also started crying. And she told Dhruva, but she was afraid that Dhruva would become very antagonistic towards his stepmother, stepbrother, and father because of this insult. So she advised Dhruva Maharaj, my dear son, what your mother Suruchi said is actually correct. Your father likes her more than me. He favors her more than me. And therefore, whatever she said is right. So please don't think of anything bad for your stepmother or for your stepbrother. Don't become envious of them, and don't think ill for them. Because if you think ill out of envy for another person, if you want to inflict pain upon somebody else out of envy, then you will have to suffer a lot. So please don't think on such terms. And if you really want to sit on the throne, then you have to understand that your grandfather, your great-grandfather, Brahma, he became the creator of the whole universe by worshipping Lord Vishnu, rendering devotional service to him, undertaking great austerities. Your grandfather, Swayambhuva Manu, he became Manu. He became the progenitor of the whole, human race. He too executed a lot of tapasya. He too executed pure devotional service to Vishnu. So if at all you want to sit on the throne, then like your mother said, like Suruchi said, you execute devotional service to that Vishnu who is searched for by great yogis and great rishis and sages with great tapasya, in great deep meditation. So Dhruva Maharaj heard this. Okay, so the way is to worship Narayana, Vishnu. And mother has said that Vishnu is searched for by all these great sages. And where are all the great sages? In the forest. So let me go to the forest. So he walked off into the forest. 5-year-old kid, no? So, children are like that. I remember once when I was a small kid, maybe about 10, 12 years old, I had gone to my native place. Native place was like a lot of uncles, aunties, and so many people, big family. One day, something happened, some fight I picked up with one of my uncles. One of my uncles was teasing me. So I became very angry. And I started crying, shouted, and ran out of the house and said, I'm leaving the house and going away, and ran off. And walked away. Auntie came from somewhere, grabbed me and then took me back, and I was crying and shouting, no, I will not come back, and all that. Children, we don't know, right? We'll walk out of the house, we don't realize what we are doing. So Dhruva Maharaj walked out of the house into the forest. And at that time, Narada Muni heard that, something like this has happened. And Dhruva Maharaj is searching for Narayana in the forest. So then Narada Muni immediately came there. And Prabhupada says there, actually, this is an example of the verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That when a living entity becomes sincere, he becomes a sincere seeker of the truth, then Shri Krishna Rukmani Satyabhama, then he becomes a recipient of the mercy of Krishna, Guru Prasada, Krishna Prasada. What will happen? Krishna becomes merciful upon that living entity. He will send a spiritual master to him. And then that Jiva will receive Guru Prasada. He will receive the mercy of the Guru. And that Guru will take him back to Krishna. So, when Narada Muni came, he approached Dhruva Maharaj and he wanted to test Dhruva Maharaj's determination. After all, small child, maybe out of some impetuousness, he might have run away from the home. So he wanted to test him. Narada Muni asked Dhruva Maharaj. He told Dhruva Maharaj, my dear son, what are you doing in the forest? Dhruva Maharaj said, I am looking for Vishnu. So Narada Muni said, getting Vishnu is not so easy. So many yogis and rishis for many lifetimes they are doing tapasya in the forest. And after several thousands of births, even after that they are not successful. And you are all, after all, a small child. This is the age for you to play. You go home and play. When you grow up, in due course of time, you will grow old, vanaprastha, sannyasa. At that time you come and try. Why you have to do it right now? So now you go back. And if you are feeling too much pain in your heart because of the insult of your stepmother, you have to learn to become equipoised. In this material world means there is praise, there will be criticism. This is all part of material life. You have to learn to become detached from all this. So become equipoised. Don't worry about all these things. So Dhruva Maharaj replied, my dear Narada Muni, whatever advice you are giving is very good advice for anybody who is suffering in this material world. But unfortunately, I have Kshatriya blood in me. And so your advice doesn't stay in my mind. So I am humbly requesting you, I want a kingdom greater than my grandfather's. Greater than my grandfather's. So you please guide me how in an honest way I can get such a facility. So Narada Muni saw, oh, Dhruva Maharaj is very determined. So he told him, okay, all right. I'll give you one mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You go to Vrindavan, you go to Madhuvana, and there you perform this deity worship, have a deity of Vishnu, perform deity worship and chant this mantra, and it will give you your desired result. So Dhruva Maharaj went to Madhuvan. He made a clay deity of Vishnu, started worshipping that deity. And the first month, every third day, he would eat some fruits and berries which had fallen down. In Vrindavan, if you go especially in this Madhuvan area and all that, you will find a lot of bear trees. Kapitha, that's what it is called in Sanskrit, bear tree. Commonly, locally, in Brajabhasha, it is called bear. So this bear is a fruit which normally human beings don't eat. All the monkeys eat. This is not very tasty. But in the forest, that's the only thing available. So Dhruva Maharaj, every third day, he would eat some bear fruits. Second month, once every 6 days, he would eat some dried grass and leaves which have fallen on the ground. Third month, every 9th day, he would drink some little water. So, drinking water also can sustain life, as Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport here. Apomaya pranaha. Life is maintained by water. We think normally without food, how will I live? But it's not food which actually sustains your life. It is water. Water is very, very important. There was one incident where maybe about a year or so back, there was a person who had gone on a trek. In some forest area, he was trekking with a group. Somehow he got separated from that group. And while trying to find his way back, he slipped in one place and fell down and broke his leg. He was not able to walk. The group, they had already gone ahead and they realized that one person is missing. So they immediately launched a manhunt, trying to locate where he is. They searched, made many teams, went around in the whole area. After 14 days, they found him. Because he had fallen off from a higher place, so they didn't realize it. After 14 days, they found him. So what was his condition? 14 days, somebody is lying there somewhere and he was not carrying any food with him. He did not have any food. Nothing was there with him. Broken leg, he cannot walk. What do you expect? He was fully conscious. And he was waiting for people, comfortably waiting. Why? Because by his good fortune, the place where he fell, there was a stream of water. So when they rescued him, they took him to the hospital and all that. And then the media came and asked him what happened and all that. And he was naturally, there is a lot of buzz that happens. So the media came and asked him, how did you survive? He said, I had no food. I had only water. Every day I was drinking water. And perfectly conscious, good health, maybe lost a little weight. Okay, that's okay. But otherwise, he was alive and kicking. Of course, not with his broken leg. But I'm saying, so, you see, apomaya pranaha. Life is maintained by water. So we should always drink good amount of water. We should not be stingy in drinking water. Anyway, so every 9th day, Dhruva Maharaj was drinking water. Then by the 4th month, Dhruva Maharaj stopped even drinking water. Every 12th day, he would breathe He was simply living on air by breathing once every 12 days. This was the 4th month. And 5th month, he stopped even that. And by his meditation, within his heart, he was able to capture Vishnu. And he stood on one leg and he closed all the 9 gates to the body, all the 9 apertures of the body, and was completely fixed up in trance. His senses were all withdrawn from the sense objects, and he was not even breathing, completely focused upon Krishna. He had captured Vishnu within the heart. And when this happened, Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, he had captured him personally within the heart. He was standing on his one foot. The earth was not able to, she was not able to carry the weight of Dhruva Maharaj. And the whole earth started shaking. And the entire universal air got blocked. And all the Devatas started choking, they started suffocating. So immediately they all ran to Vishnu. What is this, Vishnu? We have never experienced something like this. We are all suffocating. We are not able to breathe. What's happening? So Vishnu told them, don't worry. This is the austerity of Dhruva Maharaj. I'll take care. You all go. And so then Dhruva Maharaj in the 6th month, he was like this, standing deep in meditation. All his senses withdrawn. Vishnu captured within his heart. Suddenly Vishnu disappeared from his heart. So Dhruva opened his eyes. Oh my God, where did Vishnu go? Vishnu is standing right in front of him. And Dhruva Maharaj, tears started flowing from his eyes. His whole body was, there was romancha, there were hairs standing on end. His whole body was shivering. Immediately offered his obeisances. And then when he got up, he wanted to offer some prayers to Vishnu. But because he was a small boy, he did not know how to pray to Vishnu. So Vishnu, understanding his mind, he touched his head with his conch shell. Immediately, Dhruva Maharaj started glorifying Vishnu with a wonderful prayers, which are all there in the Bhagavatam. And then after all that, Vishnu said, my dear son, please tell me, what can I do for you? What benediction do you want from me? Dhruva Maharaj looked at Vishnu. Sthanabilashi tapasisthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham michinvanapi divyaratnam swamin kritartosmi varam na yache. He said, oh my Lord, Sthanabilashi tapasisthitoham. I was situated in great tapasya, austerity. And for what? Sthana Abhilashi. He had not forgotten. Dhruva Maharaj had not forgotten. Sthana Abhilashi. I was wanting a great kingdom, and that's why I was meditating upon you with so much austerity. But Tvam Praptavan, I got you. Who are you? Deva Munindra Guhyam. Even Devatas, even great demigods, even great sages, they are not able to get you. I got you. And what was I actually looking for? I was not looking for you. Kacham Michinman. I was looking for some broken pieces of glass. Divyaratnam. But I got a priceless divine jewel in you. Swamin Kritartosme. I am fully satisfied. Varam na yache. I don't want any benediction. You see, when Dhruva Maharaj came to the forest searching for Vishnu, his heart was burning because of the insult by his stepmother. But by rendering devotional service under the guidance of his Diksha Guru, Narada Muni, what happened? All his, whatever that fire was burning in his heart, completely extinguished. Totally peaceful. He was no more interested in the insult of his stepmother, getting a kingdom, all those things completely vanquished. So this is described by Rishabhadeva in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Rishabhadeva says, Yadana pashyatya ayatha guneham Yadana pashyatya ayatha guneham Swarte pramattaha sahasa vipaschit. So he says, Rishabhadeva says, that guna iham, as long as we are desiring sense gratification. So one meaning of guna is quality, the three modes of material nature. Guna also refers to the senses. Guna iha means engaging in sense gratification. So engaging in sense gratification is ayatha. It is actually unnecessary. It is not essential for us. Is anybody going to die by intoxication? If somebody doesn't intoxicate, will he die? He will not die. If somebody doesn't eat meat, will he die? He will not die. If somebody doesn't engage in illicit sex, will he die? He will not die. If somebody doesn't engage in gambling, will he die? He will not die. So, but then people engage in these activities. Actually, the fact is, if somebody eats meat and he engages in intoxication, he will die because of that. He will die more quickly because of that. That's the reality. But still people engage in sense gratification. Although it is ayatha, it is unnecessary. So, Rishabhadeva says that Yadana pashyati ayatha guneham, as long as one is not able to see that these sense gratificatory activities are not essential and one engages in great endeavor to engage in them. Swarte pramattaha. Pramattaha means he is blind. He is mad after sense gratification. He is not able to see that it is not essential for my survival, but still one engages. Day and night people are working hard for sense gratification, which is actually not necessary. So, swartha, what is their actual self-interest? People are not aware. They are thinking sense gratification is my self-interest. But actually, what is the fact? Sense gratification is not at all essential. So, sahasa vipaschit, even if one is a learned person, very learned, very scholarly, very intelligent, if he engages in sense gratification, then what happens? Sahasa, very quickly, what will happen to him? He will sahasa vipaschit, even though he may be very learned person, scholarly and all those things. If one does not give up the process of sense gratification, gata smritir vindate tatra tapan. He will forget what is the real goal of life, and vindate tatra tapan. He will have to undergo many miseries. Vindate tatra tapan. Asadya maithunyamagaram ajnaha. He'll become, although vipaschit means very learned person. Ajnaha means one who is ignorant, one who is illiterate, one who doesn't know anything. Like animals. So even if one is very learned, if one engages in sense gratification which is not essential, then what will happen? He will become like an animal. And maithunyamagaram, he will get caught up in the prison of sex life. And because of this, what happens? Vindate tatra tapan. He will have to undergo great miseries. And then Rishabhadeva says, Pumsa striya mitune bhavametam tayor mito hridaya granthi mahu ato griha kshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoyam aham mameti. When a person engages in sex life, even if it is legitimate with a properly married woman, wife and husband together, they are executing householder duties, what will happen? Tayor mito hridaya granthi mahu. The knot in the heart gets stronger. The knot which ties one to the material world becomes very tightly tied. And because of that knot of maithunya, agara, of the prison of the shackles of sex life, what will happen? Ato griha kshetra sudapta vittair. One starts running after a source of maintenance. One needs a house. One needs children, relatives, wife, all these kind of things. And janasya mohoyam aham mameti. One builds up one's illusion that I am this body and everything related to the body is mine. And like this, one gets caught up in vindate tatra tapan. One has to suffer in the material world. So, the word Rishabhadeva uses is tapa. Tapa means, what is actually tapa? Tapa means heat. So, when we are burning in the fire of material life, as we sing every day, samsara davanala leedha. This entire material world is burning in the forest fire of miseries arising out of family life. So, if that tapa, that heat due to the fire of material life, if you have to become free from, it is not possible simply by engaging in duties as a householder. So what is the way to become free from that fire which is burning everyone's heart? That tapatraya, if you have to become free from, the way is to engage in devotional service to Krishna. Just like you see Dhruva Maharaj, he was burning in that fire of insult, so much so that he could not stay in the house, he ran out of the house. But because he got the shelter of a pure devotee and he engaged in devotional service to Vishnu according to the instructions of his guru, all the tapa got subdued. So therefore, if one has to become peaceful and that fire in the heart has to get extinguished, then it is possible only by taking shelter of a pure devotee, accepting him as our spiritual master and engaging in devotional service. Which is actually what has happened to all of us. After we came in touch with Prabhupada, have we all not experienced that freedom from the struggle for existence? We are no more worried if there is war, if prices go up. Even if death comes, we are not so much worried. Prabhupada is there for us. That's because we have accepted Prabhupada as our spiritual master. So Prabhupada, just like Narada Muni was the one who gave the mantra to Dhruva Maharaj and he told him how to engage in devotional service. Okay, when we come into Krishna consciousness, we'll come and maybe in touch with some devotee who will tell us to chant. We may not have heard directly from Prabhupada, but those personalities are our Vartma Pradarshaka Gurus. Just like Suniti became the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru for her son, Dhruva Maharaj. She told him, yes, you go and do devotional service to Narayana. So she was the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. So when we come into the Krishna consciousness movement, there are so many people who will tell us, you read this book, you chant on this mala, this is how you have to chant, the Hare Krishna mantra you have to chant the Panchatattva mantra first. So we are taught Panchatattva mantra, Prabhupada's Pranam mantra, Hare Krishna mantra. So many devotees teach us. They are all Vartma Pradarshaka Gurus or Shiksha Gurus. But the Guru who is from whom we are actually receiving the holy name, who has told us that we have to chant 16 malas, it is Prabhupada. Some devotee may be coming and telling us that you have to chant 16 rounds. But that order to chant 16 rounds, why not 17, why not 15, 16 exactly, that order came from whom? It came from Prabhupada. So actually, from Prabhupada we are receiving the mantra. Although there may be somebody else who is becoming instrumental as a Vartma Pradarshaka Guru or as a Shiksha Guru to give us that mantra and that knowledge. So, Prabhupada is the person who is actually really initiating us. And that real initiation begins from the day we start hearing from Prabhupada. The day we start reading Prabhupada's books, the day we start chanting Hare Krishna mantra, already initiation process has started. And the moment we start following the instructions of the Guru like that, of a pure devotee, immediately, tapa apanoda, the heat of the forest fire of material existence will start getting subdued. And that is why it is being stated here, the water, tapa apanodo bhuyastvam. One of the properties of water is what? It has the property of driving away heat. So, if, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So he is the proprietor of all the universes. He is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. And Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. And he is the well-wisher of all living entities. Anyone who understands these three things, Jnatva Mam Shantim Richati, he becomes peaceful. Peaceful means his heart is no more troubled by the forest fire of material existence. So somebody may not be, due to various reasons, he may not want to worship Krishna. He may say, no, I'm born in a different race, I'm born in a different religion, I cannot worship Krishna. Okay, Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya. Whenever you are thirsty and you drink water, and when you drink that water, tapa apanoda, you feel, oh, I'm drinking the water, I'm feeling great cool. And Triptaha, your thirst is getting slaked, your thirst is getting quenched. Immediately remember that this taste of water, which is so cooling and which is quenching my thirst, that taste is God. If you simply remember this, that is the beginning of devotional life. Prabhupada says that Krishna is spread everywhere. Krishna is all pervasive. But we don't have the eyes to see him. Although he is there in our own heart, he is there in every atom, we cannot see him. So, in this present circumstance, when we are not able to have the eyesight to see the Supreme Lord, how do we see him? Whenever we drink water, we remember that this taste of water, which is so satisfying, which is so quenching the thirst, which is so cooling, is God, is Krishna. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashisurya yoho. We are able to sit here and we are able to see each other because of the sunlight. So the moment the sun rises, darkness is dispelled, we can immediately see, oh, that sunlight is God. So this Prabhupada says is Shantarasa. And when we are sufficiently developed in that Shantarasa, when we start appreciating God like this, eventually we'll come to a point, why not serve that Supreme Lord? Then devotional service starts. So, the point is that water has so many characteristics. Kledanam, pindanam, triptihi, pranapyayanondanam, prananapyayanondanam, tapapanodo, bhuyastvam, ambaso vrittayastvimaha. These are all the characteristics. See, one element, water, has so many qualities. Modern science, if you go and ask them what is the characteristic of water, they will say water has no color, it is transparent, it is tasteless, it contains of hydrogen and oxygen. This much only they can tell you. And the water is a fluid, liquid. That much they will tell you. But what about these characteristics? Characteristics of water are exhibited by its moistening other substances, coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction. You see, causing satisfaction, maintaining life. These are the characteristics of water, which are so relevant to ourselves. Science looks at it from a different perspective. Hydrogen, oxygen combination, that's all. No connection between me and water. But the way the Bhagavatam is giving the characteristics of water, it is very relevant to me. Why? It is causing satisfaction to me. It is maintaining my life. It is driving away heat. And it is refreshing by slaking thirst. Not only that, it softens things. It incessantly supplies itself to reservoirs of water. So many characteristics one element water has. Where are all these characteristics coming from? It is coming from Krishna. So when a devotee sees water, he sees this one element water has so many wonderful characteristics. And this is coming from Krishna. So every moment we see sunlight, we see water, we see air, anything we see, we can see Krishna, Krishna's energies. This is the beauty of devotional service. So therefore, Kapila Deva is explaining to Devahuti what are the characteristics of water so that we can appreciate the opulence of Krishna, that his material energy, that water has such wonderful characteristics. One of which is to slake the thirst. And that slaking the thirst, whenever it does, we can immediately remember Krishna. And that when we drink water and we remember Krishna, that Krishna is the taste of that water, it not only is satisfying it is not only satisfying our thirst and cooling our body, it is also very cooling to the heart. Like Dhruva Maharaj, that fire that was there in his heart, it could not be satisfied even by water. He stopped drinking water also. But when he saw Vishnu, immediately completely satisfied. So, simply by remembering that quality of water to satisfy our thirst and cool us, that it is coming from Krishna, our heart will also get cooled and our heart will experience great satisfaction, even in the midst of the material world, even in the midst of the greatest tribulation. That is why Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita that Dukkena Gurunapina Vichalyate. Even in the greatest calamity, we will be undisturbed. How? If we remember Krishna every moment of our life. Whenever we drink water, we remember Krishna. Whenever we breathe, we can remember Krishna. Whenever we see the sun rising, we can remember Krishna. So this is such a wonderful process. Very easy to remember God. Not at all difficult. So this is the power of devotional service. That is why Krishna says in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Susukham kartum avyayam. Devotional service is very easily performed. Even a small child can do. Whenever he is drinking water, think of Krishna. This taste of Krishna, taste of water is Krishna. Whenever he is breathing, this air is coming from Krishna. This sunlight is coming from Krishna. Everything you can connect. You don't have to be a big scholar. You don't have to be very learned in Sanskrit and study the entire Vedanta Sutra Upanishads. None of that is required. Simply remember Krishna at every step of your life. And that is the simplicity of devotional service. At the same time, it is the most sublime. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham adgatena antaratmana. A yogi, a person who constantly sees Krishna like this everywhere, he is the greatest yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratma shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. He is the greatest yogi. And so, Devahuti, wanting to learn spiritual life, has put this question to Kapila Deva, her son, and Kapila Deva is explaining the fundamental principles of material nature so that when we see matter, we will see the energy of Krishna. We will not see matter, we will see Krishna. And that way, we can execute devotional service at every step, every second of our life, and we can blissfully go back to Godhead. So I'll stop here. If anybody has anything to share or any question, most welcome. Yes, Prabhu. Padma Purana.
Smatavya Satatam Vishnu.
Smartavya Satatam Vishnu.
Smatavya Satatam Vishnu.
Vismartavyo na jatu chit.
Yeah. Those are the two principles. Always remember Krishna.
Never forget.
And never forget him. And this Prabhupada said those two principles supersede all principles. They are the actual foundation. Always remember Krishna and never forget him.
True. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else? Yes.
When I travel, it's come. The devotees, they all take notes when they get classes. But they put the book on the floor. And the floor is where our feet are. And the words that the notes that they're writing is transcendental. Because it's become, it's like the iron. It's like, remember, probably get it, like the iron, it becomes like
the fire.
So the same thing, they're thinking it's their notes, but it's transcendental. So we can't put the books on the floor because our feet's on the floor. And some of them have real nice notes, books, with the Lord's picture on it and everything. So, because they don't know that. But I have to say it because see it, I don't say it.
We'll do something about that. We'll try. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.